All right, good morning, all. Hope everybody had a great holidays. We're coming up on the new year, which is going to be pretty exciting. This one, I'm just kind of going over all my GitHub projects. I noticed there's a lot of pull requests, a lot of issues. I thought, hey, let's go through some of the projects today, kind of brush up on them before we hit the new year. My new year resolution is to do 500 contributions to GitHub, which this last year I did about 280. And I want to double that and do better. So that's my only New Year's resolution, really. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, pretty neat to see everything happening. One thing, the whole Debian shirt. There is only one Debian. That's still going on. If you're interested in getting your shirt, I know we have 8 more days before that closes and that batch is done. I'm sure we'll probably pull it back out sometime again later in the year, but that's been going pretty well. And yeah, with that, let's get on the desktop and get into it. It's still early here. I got a little bit of a head cold, so just kind of fighting through that. People know me usually Friday mornings, me not great to begin with, coupled with a cold. And it's going to be a very interesting one for sure. And then also, I think the actual stream itself is trying to run at 1440, and I am noticing some hiccups here on my end. Let me know in chat if you guys notice anything, but apparently YouTube is not liking the fact that I am streaming in 1440. Interesting. Error. Current resolution is not supported for this configuration. I guess they want 4K or 1080, but we're gonna rock 1440 and see what happens. Let me know in chat if you notice anything off. So, all right, let's do this. It's the stubble should have shaved. Yeah, probably. John, I appreciate it, man. I love making the videos. All right. Let's flip over to here. This is kind of the projects we're going to do. We'll start with the Windows 10 script, just kind of show one that has a lot of contributions. This has over 2,000 something stars, almost 1,000 forks, which is kind of insane. And I get a lot of different pull requests. So I wanted to kind of go through these, and what pull requests are is the community contributing to the project, making it better. I always say the power of open source. You might have heard that term from other folks too. And what makes it so powerful is if you have one project by one person, you're just relying 100% on that one person to do it. Well, when you open source it, a lot of people are like, why are you giving all this stuff away for free? And it's not that I'm just some noble person for doing it. It's the fact that I love the fact that other people can contribute to that project and make something better than anything I can make by myself. That's why you open source something, and I'm just one guy in his garage. And by open sourcing it and putting it on GitHub, I can get a ton of different contributors, and also I can actually look at other people's forks and make a better product that would otherwise be incapable of actually being made. So that's why you do this, among other reasons. But that's my reason for it, is I love just making something and making something, that I think is better than anything that a closed source person could do. Yes, a closed person, actually, people have actually taken this project and done closed source with it, and made like executable files and even sold them. I've seen my stuff pop up in the weirdest places, but it's really kind of important to know that that's the reason why you open source, is because you will make a better product at the end of the day because of it, which is cool. And even if that means you will get some crazy stuff. We'll go through this and see, like this one right here. I know I've looked at this prior to, and I want to say this is one that I can't actually take these additions and do much with. Sometimes people do crazy stuff and they'll change like the spacing on everything, and they'll pull it through, and then what happens is when you look at the code, it's just everything is different. They've just done too much to the code to where I can't see what has changed, what has been fixed, and that's a problem. So this pull request is an example of someone that's done a lot of work, but I can't accept the pull request because I can't see what the hell the person did, and because it just loads everything as a difference. So that's an example of a bad pull request, even though it's there. So I'm going to do that, and we'll just write can't see differences between master branch. And we're going to close this pull request. I can't merge that because I don't know what that person's done, and I can't worry about that breaking the script, which is kind of a bummer. Now I might come back to it and look at some of the things like he's done, like some of his commits, and we might be able to fix, but him fixing like the formatting and some other things was problematic. And if we look at like one of the commits, you can see here, let's look. He wants to change it to this, and it looks like (32-bit). Oh, okay. So he added a 32-bit and a 64 operating system here. So that would be one commit we could probably grab. But what we'll probably do before we grab any more pull requests is actually make a new branch here. So let's pull up our thing, and then we're gonna switch over to the Win10 script. We'll pull anything from the origin, make sure we're up to date, and then what I want to do is make a new branch, and we're gonna call this the test branch, and we're gonna publish that. And what we could do with this test branch is we can grab all these pull requests, change them to go on the test branch, and then at the end here, once we've sifted through all our pull requests, we can actually test it, which is kind of cool. So that's one thing we're going to do with this project. I should have done this a long time ago, but again, I'm still pretty new to GitHub. I've only been really doing commits for a couple years now. Why not transition to GitLab? I could. I just haven't. I was just here, and most people are on GitHub, so I'm not very much into the politics behind FOSS and the open source movement, but I do love the practicality, the technical portion of it. So I don't get into the whole, hey, GitHub's owned by Microsoft and they're an evil corporation kind of politics. I don't like Microsoft, but at the same time, everyone's typically on GitHub. And I don't really like GitLab's layout. I do like some of the feature set of GitHub better than GitLab. So if you take all the politics of it, it really just makes a lot of sense to just use GitHub. But if you, at the same token, I'm totally okay with folks using something else. It's just most people do use GitHub. Alexandru, thank you so much for the donation. I'm just seeing if I miss anything in chat here. Yeah, oh man, that Debbie and Titus one. We'll address that branch here shortly. There's still a lot of work to be done there. I was loading that up on my Chromebook, and I got a new project coming up. Probably my next video will probably be me converting this Chromebook to a Linux powerhouse. And this Chromebook, I did not realize how much Google gimped the Chromebooks. But let's just say I'm gaming on this thing. I can do Skyrim, I can do Hollow Knight, I can do a lot of things. I might even be able to do Cyberpunk on this. So I'm going to see what the top end game I can get working on this Chromebook is by loading my own distribution and stripping it down. But let's just say it can play some games. And yeah, pretty cheap too for a laptop. And that's kind of like a little glimpse into what I'm working on next. But all right, moving on to the next pull request. What do you think about KDE and Neon users? I like KDE. KDE and Neon is actually made by the KDE team. I just don't particularly like it as a distribution. All right, let's see. Add new hotspot shield VPN. Oh, this is an uninstall thing. Okay, let's take a look at the differences. Yeah, they were just adding something to the bloatware. Yeah, I'm okay with this commit. Hotshot, yeah. That sounds like a terrible VPN. I've never even heard of it before. That's kind of obscure. I wonder why systems come preloaded with that. That's an odd one. But yes, that's a good one. Now this one, I don't think I'm going to actually merge this request. I've already looked at it ahead of time because disable internet search. Nobody likes internet search on Windows. Like maybe like somebody's grandpa does, but man, I don't know. I mean, internet search on Windows is awful when you do it through the start menu. I think we're just going to go ahead and disable Bing search and allow search to use location. To me, that's just, it's an unnecessary feature that isn't really a feature. I consider this more of a bug than a feature. So for this, I think we're just going to take this portion of the commit. We're not going to add a new panel or a button. We're going to actually just implement this directly into the essential tweaks and disable internet search altogether. I don't like it at all. So we're going to actually take this one and we're going to modify this pull request because, well, it needs to be modified to work with this. So let's see. This is our current branch. We'll toss it over here. Oh, and by the way, I gotta tell you, I am about to do something silly for those Linux users in the crowd. I gotta ditch X11. I gotta move to Wayland. I'm on 1440p, and things are not good in the world. This is causing me a lot of headache, and X11's fine if you're a 1080p user, but for these odd resolutions and stuff and some of the things I'm doing and mirroring, man, Xorg has not been good to me. I gotta tell you, I mean, I've gotten everything going, but it is hacky as all get out. So I'm gonna have to convert to Wayland. As much as I've crapped on Wayland, I gotta give it a go. So yeah, that's kind of a bummer. I meant to tell folks about that. Also a future video coming up. Hey, how you doing, Sparky? Happy New Year, man. Yeah, switching from Pipewire as well. Yeah, Sam, actually, I think I am using Pipewire here, now that you say that. Which Pipewire is a brand new audio interface, which... Pipewire? Let's see. Yeah, this is actually using Pipewire. So I do need to switch to... I think I love Pipewire from everything I've dealt with. I am using Media Session. I want to say I switched that in a different one to something else, but yeah, I don't know on that. But I do need to switch to Wayland just because of the odd resolutions I'm running. All right, let's see what do we got. We're gonna just change this up a bit. We're gonna go to essentials. Let's come down to essential tweaks, right? So this is the add click. Here's the essential tweaks. Moving past that, Windows search. Oh yeah, that's right. Essential undo completed. So that's the undo portion of it. So this was the final tweak I made with just setting some tweaks to manual, cleaning up some processes. I do need to make a video about Microsoft Edge 2 coming out. I saw a comment the other day about someone displeased with my my views on Microsoft Edge. So I need to talk to folks about Microsoft Edge, because a lot of people, especially in the YouTube space, has said that Microsoft Edge is incredibly fast, and it basically gave it a free pass, and said, hey, you know, it's okay to use Microsoft Edge. And I need to come out and tell people Microsoft Edge is the devil, and you shouldn't use it. But seriously though, I do need to show people why, yes, it does perform extremely well, but, and there's a big but here, it does integrate tightly with the system to where you can't really do a lot of modifications to your system. So yes, you pick up a little bit of speed in a lot of comparison tests, but I think they're offloading portions of that browsing to the actual operating system. So I think all these speed tests from everybody, I think is wrong. I think they're all just incorrect because of how Microsoft is doing their integration with Edge. But again, people aren't going to like that video, but I still need to make it just so people know not to use Edge if they want to use like my deep load script, for instance, because I'm disabling services that Edge relies on. Not Google Chrome, which Edge is based on Chromium, but it literally relies on certain portions of this for its configuration. And for those that don't, I guess I'm real sarcastic and dry sometimes. When I say something's the devil, I'm not saying it's like satanic or something like that. It's more of a joke. If you ever seen like Adam Sandler's The Waterboy from, I guess it's the 90s or 2000s. I don't know when that movie came out, but there's his mom says everything's the devil. And that's kind of where I make that. It's more of a joke than anything else. It's just meaning that's not something I particularly like. So that's where that joke originated from. For those that whenever I say something's the devil, I'm just making fun, kind of tongue in cheek. But I guess that sometimes does not translate well on YouTube. I'm just gonna put end of essential tweaks, and then we need to also enable this on the essential undo, which if we look that up, we'll do, put that right here. So this is the disable. And then we're going to put that right in here. Just one more thing to screw over Edge users. But that's okay. Nobody needs to be integrating this directly into their operating system. And we'll put this, we're going to do a write host for this just to kind of tell people what it is. So let's go ahead. We'll yank that. Put that here. And we're going to just delete the rest of that and just type enabling web search from start menu. And then if we look back on our commit right here, you can see what we're doing. We're disabling web search here, in there, and that's the end of essential tweaks. And then we have this one right here, which we re-enable it. One thing here I'm noticing is it does look like I overwrote the essential tweaks undo, or maybe I committed something that I shouldn't have. Let's take a look, another look here, and then I'll finish with this pull request. I'll probably close the pull request. Obviously, I'm not going to merge it, but then we'll just kind of take that out. Boris, thanks so much for the super chat. Chris, thank you for the content. Learning so much. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you as well, man. That's awesome. What were your Wayland beefs? For me, it felt glitchy last time I tried it. Ultra, I would say the Wayland beefs I had were mainly around X11 forwarding, which is a very, very seldom used thing. I love X11 forwarding. And then also, it was a little bit glitchy on multi-monitor support. When I first tried it in Fedora 27 or 28, this would have been back in 2018, by the way. This is like 3 years ago. And then also, there's a lot of X utilities I was using, and there's been a lot of progress in the last couple years on that front too. So I just need to give Wayland a fair shake, and I haven't. So that's why I'm going to be kind of tackling it again. That, and I need 1440p. I would like 1440p support, which would be ideal. But I have not noticed any problems with the Pipewire as well. All right, so essential tweaks, actually, I do not see. Usually at the end of each one, I write a text and say ready for next task. Oh, there it is. Oh. Oh, okay. My bad. I accidentally put it in the wrong area. And that's why I go back and check. All right, that should be good now. So what we'll do is look back on this. Let's look at this commit again. Now, just fetch origin. All right, now we add that in. That looks correct now. And we're on the test branch. We'll go ahead, commit this to test, disable internet search, commit to test, push. All right, that one's done, and that's ready for testing. So this pull request, I'm gonna go ahead integrating this directly into essential tweaks. I don't want to add another button, basically. So that one's closed. Coming back into here. Fix button lock lookup. Let's see what this looks like. It's gonna be another too much changes. Yeah, sometimes people change all the spacing. Oh man, yeah, everything has changed. Yeah, this is another one. Can't load the differences. Yeah, and I just gotta discard it, because usually what happens if you change like the formatting of like this particular script, I can't use Posh GUI and some other things to add to it. I like to add it using that tool, which is Posh GUI. It's really good, but I can't merge this pull request. Too many differences, and it will break Posh GUI updates. Close. You think I should stop learning PHP and focus on other languages? I mean, I think you should learn what you know is currently you're passionate about. My original language that I learned was C, you know, and I don't know C very well at all anymore. I'd probably have a hard time just doing a hello world these days. But that's my original language that I learned. Topos, or Top, thanks so much for the super chat. My mama says that alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth and no toothbrush. Oh, I love the Waterboy reference. The nuke the world commit. Yeah. So true, Jeff. So true, man. I mean, yeah, whenever people do merge requests and it's like every single line there's a change, I'm like, I don't know what to do with this. I can't really do anything with it. This should have been a fork really than a pull request. But I still appreciate, you know, I might be able to look through the commits that this person did and change some stuff, but yeah, I can't change my entire script based on these type of change, especially something that's used by so many. It would just be very bad. Oh, let's see. Code cleanup. This is going to be another one. Yeah. I don't know why people keep submitting this type of stuff. I know some of it is there, but oh. All right, this one looks interesting though. Disabling Edge. I might come back to this one, mainly because I really hate Edge. And that looks very interesting. Because mainly, he's pulling the child item from Edge right here. This is really interesting. So this is something I could learn from. This variable is being set to this. He's running this uninstall script, which I've done a video on. He's setting the location. And then he's adding do not update Edge with Chromium. This is an old registry setting that Microsoft put in there to where it won't install Edge Chromium if... I don't think it actually follows this guide anymore. I think they forced everybody to update to Chromium Edge. So this probably gets ignored now. Microsoft has been really, really bad in recent years where they'll make registry editing settings basically that can be... that will say, hey, don't do this. And then after a couple years, Microsoft will be like, well, I want people to do this now. So we're just going to ignore this entire registry setting. And I think that's what's happened with the do not update Edge with Chromium, because I've set that on a lot of my systems. And then sure enough, next update, next security update, honestly, they bake it in everywhere. Edge gets reinstalled. Very interesting though. What else do we got here? There's not actually too much. Maybe I can do something here. He's just adding some case-sensitive stuff. I can probably modify this a bit. Some of the spacing's obviously a little bit different. I mean, geez, that's a hell of a commit. But I don't think... I'm going to leave this here because I really want to add a lot of the issues we see here. And this is also interesting. Disabling Bing search in the start menu. We just did this entry, but I also want to... And also the search taskbar mode. But this is kind of interesting how he's removing some of the start menu tiles. I don't know how well that'll play with Windows 11 too. So, couple things. I'm going to come back to this commit. I do like the commit. I haven't broken anything yet, Sparky, but give me time. All right. So I'm actually going to circle back around. Some of this, I like some of these commits, but I can't use all of it. Like this is a long commit. This branch has been kind of hanging out for a while. Oh, man. Yeah, so this is all been kind of changed. It's just too much. Let's see what we have. Oh, actually, no. This person just added their own PS1 scripts. I don't even think this is modifying too much. I kind of want to look at this one, but yeah, I'm going to have to close this commit down and kind of look through some of these scripts. How much has changed? Yeah, everything has changed. Very interesting to see kind of everybody's style of coding PowerShell scripts. I love the way they've done this, though. That's why I kept this. Like, this is an old pull request, but I keep it alive because I admire the code and how clean it is and the way they did it. So this girl magic pull request, I can't close it because I love the way they did the code. And I'm gonna leave it because I can learn stuff from that. So I'm gonna just leave that pull request alive. A couple of these pull requests are so old, I probably should just kill it. But yeah, this one, let's see, they added a little margin, panel height. I mean, it's probably not a big one, but I'm going to go ahead and close this pull request as well. So not very many pull requests I can use on this, but at the same time, we can learn a couple things. And this is pretty much all the ones I want to deal with today for the Win10 script, and we'll move on to the next GitHub project. Within Posh GUI or updates. Closing request. That won't be a merge, and we'll go ahead and move on. We're going to leave those two active ones just because I really do think there's something to learn from each one of those pull requests. Well, we'll move on to Titus Awesome, I guess. Or maybe we do Arch Titus. That one's probably more recent, and I know, oh wow, that one has a lot of forks. I did not realize it was that popular. Holy crap, we got 17 pull requests. So yeah, almost 700 forks on this one too. These are some really ridiculous projects that have kind of taken off. I need to rerun this. Let's rerun it on stream and see where we're at before we even touch the pull request. Dio, thanks so much for the super chat. Hope your Christmas went well. It did. How do I install the desktop environment you're using? Still working on that, making it for everybody, because frankly, right now I'm kind of hacking around to get it working on a lot of other boxes. Specifically this Chromebook I have, which, I didn't even show this, but let me go ahead and show it. So this Chromebook was kind of something I've been working on, just to take a little break from the old GitHub. So it runs into developer mode, but I've basically ripped out all of Chrome OS from it and then redid everything to where it just uses my little custom one. Still a work in progress, but basically this thing is so darn good. Let's just run Steam real fast. Oh, do I not have... I don't have Steam. I had to reload it all. Because I was working on audio, but something that I have been working on. Very cool, very fast. I would say I really like a lot of the hardware in the Chrome OS. This is an IBM ThinkPad Yoga C13. It's about a $600 Chromebook, which seems a little excessive for a Chromebook, but I'm having a fun time kind of ripping out all the Google stuff and replacing it with just a bare metal Debian Linux, and then kind of coding everything in there to where it's really tightly integrated. I'm using another open source project called Breath. The developer behind it's Milky Developer, and he's kind of helping. I've gone back and forth with him a whole bunch, and we're getting some pretty cool stuff set up specifically for that. That'll be its own video, but just a sneak peek there. Oh, I love it. But it works really fast. Let's see here. But yeah, that's one thing I'm doing. I'm on Pop OS. I'd switched over to Wayland just to give it a go. So far, so good. Ah, it's literally coming. Wow. Well, I'm gonna be right there with you, Sparky, with that one. Look forward to it. Sign in. Thanks for joining membership again. That's awesome. I think I missed one up here too. I think somebody else earlier joined. Oh, yeah. Thanks so much, John, for joining us. And I still have like a little bit of a head cold, so I'm sorry if I'm like raspy today. It's not me trying to do my impression of like a Jocko Williams podcast or whatever that guy's name is. Where he like eats the mic. Oh. Do you have any protected branch settings on your projects? I can't find these settings on GitHub. Usually what I like to do is, I know on this one with Arch Titus, if you look at the branches, I have a test branch set up, and those branches make it capable of testing. So let's talk about GitHub branches real fast. I think it'll make a lot more sense for folks. Let's just come on over into here. We'll do it on this one. Well, we're going to do a new one. This is going to be Arch. We still have like this old Debian testing. I'll just go ahead and delete that. As I like to kind of redo everything as a fresh install. And you know, it's been a little bit since I've done Arch. Let's just cancel that. Let's download Arch. We'll download a new version of Arch Linux. Arch is one of those things where you have to have like an up-to-date ISO. If you don't have like a modern ISO, I'm just like, well, if it's been a month, I just go ahead and re-download Arch, which I do recommend. And usually I do like Giganet usually has pretty good ones, but my favorite Arch-based one is the first lease web. This is Dallas Fort Worth. That's where I'm at. So it's a pretty good server, and you'll see it downloads pretty quick. Not as quick as I thought it would be, actually. 5 minutes? Meh. But we'll download that, give this Arch Titus one a test to end this year out on this project. And then, man, I got to look at some of these pull requests. There's got to be probably a gajillion of them. Add Vista and Microsoft fonts. Oh. Fix comments for... Okay, let's see what we got here. Let's start with the bottom pull requests and work our way up. They're just adding spacing to the comments. Okay. Well, that's an easy pull request. I'm fine with that. Come down here. Make usernames lowercase. All right. Username lowercase. Oh, yeah. That's a good pull request, because people might put like uppercase, then completely bork the install. That's a pretty easy merge. And some of these are merging back into main. These are just small commits. If it was a bigger commit, I like to push it to test. Many new features. Oh boy. Here we go. This is going to be like the pull request to end all pull requests. Oh, hell. All right. Yeah, everything's going to be changed. Jeez. Okay. Yeah, we're going to have to come back to this guy. That's just a lot. Moving on. Common fix, please merge. Oh, this is just so people can copy off a list. Oh, that's interesting. Read disk. But the problem with this is the example says dev that. This one just says disk. That's going to confuse folks, because in the example, I say do a /dev/disk. So, yeah, I can't really commit this. Yeah. We're gonna approach this differently. Approaching this differently on the test branch. And then I'm gonna close this commit. We're gonna look at this a little different. Moving it down. Man, a lot of pull requests. This one had more pull requests than the Windows 10 script. I think it's mainly because Linux folks know how to use GitHub a little bit better than Windows folks. Am I still using app cache ng? No, mainly because I needed that space back on my NAS box, so I actually switched off of it. I need to look at that though. Good one there, Charles. It's not that if I had an extra system set up that I could really cache really well on it, I just didn't want to take up the space on that one. All right, that's fine. Let's see what this one is. Validate the username and hostname before proceeding further. I've been meaning to do this. Someone already beat me to it though, and they probably did a better job than I can do. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful commit. That is like the ideal pull request right there. Perfect. Wait, why is that a commit? Where's the conflict? I don't understand why that's conflicted. All right, well, let's fix the resolve conflicts, right? All graphics drivers, and then it comes into echo done. Not really done, is it? Source the install file, do while true, enter host name, validates the host name, done, convert to lowercase. How that might have been from the test. Okay, so there's this test. User add. Should be fine. Echo hostname to hostname. Chown. All right, I don't see where the conflict is here. I'm looking through this code and that looks like a really good commit. I still don't see why GitHub thought that this was conflicting with something. Install those graphics drivers, do the host name, incorrect host name. All right, that's fine. I like that. All right. Who am I? Just going through, passing through just to make sure that there was not anything else here. I think all that looks great. That should resolve that commit. All right, mark is resolved. I guess we'll run it and figure it out. See if it breaks something. All right. All right, let's merge this pull request. I think that's going to be good. Now that we merged a couple pull requests, I do want to go ahead and run this just so we have it. Let's show this folder. We're gonna just is that home downloads? What are we at? Arch Linux is from there. Let's move that to trash. Oh man, that's that. Some of these images are so old. All right, let's just copy downloads Arch to here. All right, we've grabbed our new Arch Linux one from December. And now we can go ahead, add our new Arch install. Let's test this bad boy out. Browse images, Arch Linux. Oh, refresh. Give me that. And we'll go forward with that. We're going to go with 6 CPUs. We'll go 10 gigs of RAM. And we'll give it 30 gigs forward. And you know what? We'll leave it as just a basic BIOS install. We're not going to go UEFI on this. Oops. And we'll see what this does. You know what? I might be able to scale this view. Always. All right. Oh no, don't need to do sudo. It's been a while since I've been in Arch, so let's let's see if I can remember how to run my own projects here. Oh boy. Oh, I think you know what? I think it was like git and rsync. I feel like there's something else I'm missing. Oh well. Git clone. And then I think it was just a install, right? Arch Titus. Oh, you know what? There's a set console command. I don't even remember doing that. Let's run that. Okay. Underwhelming. All right, let's run our script, see how this is with some of the changes, and see what see how we do. We're gonna just do dev VDA. Yes. Oops. Messed up. I forgot to hit yes. Oh, sad face. Oh well. Let's change that, shall we? Come on. Where'd my mouse go? Alright, there we go. I think we can just close ow, man. Bird manager. That's not what I wanted. Alright, we'll take this. We're gonna go full screen with that. And then give it a kick. No bootable. Oh, my bad. Did I not put anything in the ROM? Oh, I didn't. I forget Virt Manager does this. It's kind of annoying. I kind of wish they kept the install media in there until you said eject, but I get why they don't do it. Let's go ahead. Force off. Domain is not running, okay. It says it's running booted. Oh, what did I do? Huh. Oh, I must have done something here. Domain is not running. I've never run into that error, actually. Maybe it's something unique to Vert Manager. To solve this error, go to Edit, Connection Details, Virtual Network. Oh! I thought I already did this. What was that? Edit, Connection Details. Virtual Networks. That's already set to auto start. Stop network. Start network. Odd. I keep closing that out. Vert Manager, for some odd reason, it's all linked. Oh well. There we go. It's working now. I don't know what happened. Alright, we'll go full screen. I still love Vert Manager. It's like by far, if you're gonna ever do virtualization, I couldn't imagine using anything but Vert Manager and QEMU. Is it possible to create aliases in this environment? Yeah, I think you should be able to. I don't know why you wouldn't. All right, let's take a look at this. We're just gonna do SY. We're gonna grab Git, rsync. Grab these two things. I don't think I actually need rsync. Oh, no, I don't. Okay, rsync comes preloaded, so just Git is really all I needed. And we're gonna just clone our install again. Test out these new commits. Oh, Arch Titus. And if we look here, we're just gonna do Arch Titus. And that should go ahead, do a full-blown install, and then we can test this out. We're gonna have to probably do a couple installs for this for the test branch as well, so I can show that off. This is just the main branch. I just want to make sure the main branch is working fine. That's the one everyone will use. Test branch usually doesn't ever get touched. I like to do all like the experimental commits to the test branch just to kind of give it a whirl, so to speak. You're up to. I just read it. Something. Sam Zick is going to update Proxmox to SID branch and put Pipewire on it. I don't even think. Does Proxmox even have audio loaded? I mean, it's just a hypervisor host. I don't think it even has any kind of audio on it. Although I know some people do use Proxmox for. I mean, if you had your main system as Proxmox and loaded like a... That'd be interesting. That'd be an interesting project. I wonder, because, I mean, Proxmox does use Debian. I bet you could just build out your own system on top of Proxmox and then use it to... Oh, that'd be weird. Anyways, yeah, that's that's an interesting experiment you're doing there, Sam. Chris, can you show us how to set up your own VPN using a VPS by chance? Jason, I've actually made that video. If you look through how to set up a VPN on my channel, that's actually something I've already done. Will it install in 2 gigabytes of RAM? Yeah, it should. It should install on 2 gigs of RAM. Initially it broke when it didn't because you needed more RAM for the install, especially from the AUR, some of those bigger packages that are this installs, but hey. Yeah, we already debloated, did some pull requests on the debloat of Windows. We can test that out while this is running. Let's come over here. We'll leave this guy running in the background. Let's go. Oh, you know what? We'll push this to workspace 3. All right, and then we'll come back. Oh, that's workspace 2. What's in workspace 4? Huh. That's interesting. Workspace 4, I think, has that in it, but it feels like this is another Xorg issue. I gotta get off Xorg, guys. Driving me crazy. Oh well. Let's load up old Windows, right? Let's just grab us some old Win 10 action. Run this update of the script on here. All right, we're in our Windows, and we're just gonna load up debloat Windows 10. I think we can just go debloat Windows actually. We'll just grab this. This will grab all of our updates to our script, and we're just gonna make sure that works fine. Is we did do some pull requests to the script. Let's see how it looks. Everything looks pretty solid. It doesn't look like anything's changed. We're going to change that essential tweaks tool. This is one thing we actually did do, was disable web search from the start menu. So let's make sure that took. And usually I'll pop security updates only. I have a habit of just doing that every time I'm in here. Let's see. All right, yep, that took just fine. And we'll go ahead and do that. Yeah. It's still doing web results. Let's give this a reboot. Just restart that system and then see what happens. I want to make it to where when I'm typing in there, it will just go ahead and just show only apps, no search results. It was still looking like it was searching the web using that. And we did make that tweak on the essential tweak, so probably a restart should be fine. Yeah, I recommend debloating on Windows 11 production machines, Drummer. I've tested that out as well. I would show that here, but obviously my Windows 11 is actually a dual boot on my studio PC here. But I do recommend debloating each one. You're going to save a ton of resources, especially on Windows 11. How to be safe while using the AUR. I would say with the AUR, just don't install a bunch of crap from the AUR. If you have like 20 packages from the AUR, you're going to have a bad time. It's eventually going to break itself. It's just a matter of time before one of them lags behind, gets deprecated, and then you're just hosed. Or it just, something breaks, or someone does a bad commit in the AUR. I mean, it's going to happen. That's why I'm like, just as long as you're not overly reliant on the AUR, you're fine. If you have like 1 or 2 packages and it's a pretty common package like Discord, you'll probably be okay. But if you're just going wild with it, you're gonna have a bad time. It's just not gonna be much fun. All right, let's pull back up into our Windows desktop after that install, and then I want to test that web search. Hopefully that web search worked. Oh, okay. Well, we're going to get rid of that wallpaper engine. I need to uninstall wallpaper engine, actually. All right. Nah. So we did those registry settings. This is a good example of Microsoft just something that used to work but no longer works. It's ignoring all of it. It's forcing you to use. I bet it even launches an Edge. Let's watch. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Microsoft, you stay classy. Pathetic. All right. So yeah, those web search results did not. They're ignoring it on this build. What build are we on? I bet it's 21H2. I want to say. I bet one of the older builds this would work on. Yeah, 21H2 is this version. So I bet you like 20H2 and before versions, it would actually honor that registry setting and not allow web search. But after 20H2, I think is really when they really started making push towards Edge and Chromium and baking the browser into your start menu. So I'll see if maybe there's another more forceful way to remove Edge from doing this. I guess we could just use like search deflector. There's some other things we could do, but man, that's just depressing. All right. Well, cool. Good to know. All right. And All right. Now we're to this part in the script. Let's go full screen with this guy. Make our common stuff. Arch Titus. Oh, okay. Yeah, let me see what you got there, Sparky. I'm gonna pull that up on the other monitor here. Oh, is it not allowing me to? Oh, it wants me to log into GitHub. All right. So you're using GDM to enable Wayland. I'm actually using SDDM, Sparky, for my Wayland. It's interesting, though, for Pop! OS. I didn't know you were a Pop! OS user. Yeah, sign in. That's actually the registry key we were actually using to disable Bing search, but in 21H2 they no longer honor it. I'm sure in Windows 11 they also don't honor that registry key anymore, which is kind of a bummer. A little bit depressed on that, but it's just Microsoft being Microsoft. Yeah, WSL, like, I see some comments here about WSL. WSL is fine for checking syntax and some basic runtime stuff, but when it comes to, like, actually using your computer in, like, a full desktop environment, WSL is kind of pointless in that regard. But I do like WSL for checking syntax, and if I'm doing, like, updating a script, I'm like, hey, will this work in an Arch-based system or will this work in a Debian-based system? You can just check it, which is cool because, like, a lot of people don't realize you can have multiple WSL containers, basically. and you can launch Debian based, you can launch an Arch based, and you can check all of that. So it's actually pretty good for development. It's just not great for some of the fun stuff. I mean, it makes for a good YouTube video, but not really practical using WSL for a lot of the other stuff. Can you fix the tweak not working at the same size, different scale? I have a scale. Yeah, as far as the scale goes, I do need to figure out something like that. That's actually a limitation of using WinForms. How the actual thing works is if it was an executable file, it would be fine. It would scale properly. If it was, but because it's a PowerShell script and it's using WinForms to basically create that on your screen, it's reading everything in real time and then just kind of displaying it using WinForms. If I convert it to like a full-blown executable, scaling will work, which I actually did in a past stream, just using like PS1 to exe. And probably on my next update, I'll make like an executable for people to donate, and I'll just put it on like my website. Usually I put everything up there for like $5. So I'll probably do something like that and then just recompile on the updates. It's just, I just haven't. And people could easily take my PS1 script and make an executable. Actually, many people have. I've seen my script pop up in a lot of different tools now, which is kind of cool. But at the same time, yeah, I don't like it when people take the script and then just put it in like a closed source toolkit. Which kind of, just the way the world works, you know? It's not that big a deal. Which firewall do you use? When it comes to firewall, I would say pfSense from a hardware firewall standpoint is pretty good. As far as software firewalls, if you're in Linux, usually you're just using UFW. If you're in Windows, the built-in firewall is just fine. Downloading like other software firewall is kind of silly, in my opinion. The only thing I would say, if you're going to use a different firewall, there's something called Simple Wall on Windows, which is really interesting. And you can block Windows services, which is pretty cool. But a lot of people aren't want to configure every single program. Hey, allow this program out. But if you're interested, if you're into that, and you really want a really cool firewall for Windows, Simple Wall is actually pretty cool. It's open source. It's on GitHub. It's all free. How about Unify? I hate Unify's networking stuff. The Dream Machines, the USGs, their stupid cloud key. I really just don't like it. I do think Unify makes amazing access points, though. I love their access points. And it is neat, too. Like, the neat thing with Unify, I kind of treat Unify as like the Fisher-Price version of networking, because if you get like the Unify firewall, you get the Unify switch, you get all that, it kind of puts it in a neat little interface, and it makes it to where a complete noob can just be like, click, okay, it works. The reason why I say it's the Fisher-Price version is like Unify doesn't even have OpenVPN. Like, what? WTF? It's like a 15-year-old protocol. It's open source. You should be able to implement OpenVPN, but they still like rely on for VPNs on their networking for like L2TP or PPTP. And that's so stupid. I was just like, Unify, get your stuff together. You're a big company. You can do that. I don't understand Unify's networking stuff. A lot of the YouTubers love Unify, but they make good access points. That's what I'll say. But their networking's a joke. Anybody that's into networking in a professional setting, if you're installing Unify as from a client request, no network engineer is going to grab a Unify box for anything. Hey, Alex, thanks so much. Happy New Year, man. Do you recommend ESET for Windows antivirus? Yeah, drummer. It's not bad. I always change my requests back and forth. I was recommending what was it? WebRoot for a bit there. WebRoot's also pretty minimal. It doesn't have the best detection rates, but it's cloud-based antivirus, much like the Windows antivirus, is really good. And I find it to be probably the most streamlined or the less footprint. But for actual virus detection, ESET's not bad. I think I usually almost on every stream, I go on a tangent of how much I hate Windows antivirus programs. There's so many bad ones out there that it's easier to pick out the good ones or the ones that are not terrible. That's like my endorsement of Windows antivirus programs. There's a couple decent ones, like Bitdefender's decent, ESET. I don't mind WebRoot just because it's so minimal. But just the antivirus. Don't grab like those sweet BS. I'm trying to think of other ones like Kaspersky people like, but I hate Kaspersky just because it's so... You get so many false positives and it just like alerts you for everything. It's overkill. I really hate Kaspersky, to be honest with you. Not from a detection standpoint, just because I think it's just an awful program. It just adds a ton of bloat and so many false positives that it just, to me, it doesn't feel like a good antivirus. I know a lot of people will be like, well, it detects everything though. And I'm like, I know. But to me, it should be out of sight, out of mind, and it should just do its job without warning me about every single little thing. And that's why I don't like Kaspersky. And then there's everybody else. There's so many bad ones. Like I said, any free antivirus, just stick with Windows. Stick with Windows Defender. That's my thing. I won't go on a tangent about how much I hate free antivirus. But if you're going to just don't want to pay for antivirus, just stick with Windows Defender. That's all I got to say. Sophos is decent. I agree with that. Oh, man. Norton. McAfee. Ugh. Awful. It's been a year or two since I used Bitdefender, so I can't really speak to it. Chris, talk about full screen optimization in Windows. The gaming community is split, it seems. Should it be on or off gaming in Windows? It depends on the game, young Sinatra. Some games work better with full screen, and there is noticeable FPS increases, but some games not. I mean, it just depends on what game you're doing. Typically, I'm in the camp that full screen should be enabled for FPS boosts for optimization, but sometimes I just hate how inconvenient that is a lot of times, to where I'm like, I would rather just run this in borderless Windows mode. In most instances, especially in modern games, I think it's becoming less of an issue. This is more of like a 5-10 years ago thing, I think. But again, I don't game too much these days. I try to, but I always end up failing. Oh, yeah. Avast did get bought. I think they got bought by AVG. I mean, they're both terrible antiviruses in their own right. But now Avast is just a rebranded AVG. It's not like Avast product was any good to begin with. But yeah, now it's just a rebranded AVG is what... I remember reading an article about that. I was like, well, they were both terrible to start with. Now they're just the same terrible. Oh, Panda. Oh my gosh. Is Panda still around? I hadn't seen that in a while. Oh, I'm just running Arch Titus just to see how this works on this specific install. It'll be interesting to see. Give it a reboot. Oh, you know what? I think I need to eject that media. Oopsies. All right, let's go. Ah, is that there? Let's go there. Let's just power that off. And boot options, we'll take that out. Why is that still there? Oh, all right, force off. Let's just cancel that. We're just gonna apply that. Launch back in. All right, cool. Looks like Grub took. Let's see what this looks like on start, though. Not too much happening with that, is there? Yeah, we'll give it a second. Maybe the VM's a little hung. Can you talk about FOSS a little bit? What is it? Free and open source software. That's what FOSS stands for. So, I think there's a lot of misinformation out there, and it does have kind of like a religious following, fanatical in some instances, where some people are like, everything has to be FOSS, which I don't think is practical for a lot of big corporations trying to make money on their products. But for people like me, I mean, FOSS is amazing. You can do all kinds of really cool projects, and that's kind of what we're doing with today's stream, really. This is just what happened here. Let's give it another reboot, I guess. I feel like something should have happened. That should have been a login screen. Let's see. But I love FOSS, yeah. But I mean, some things, like I said, it's just not FOSS compatible, and I'm okay with that. Let's go with a keyboard combination, maybe. Let's just do Control F2. Something happened. All right, so something's wrong with the Arch Titus script. Might have to redo it. Ah, crap, man. Let's just do an update, I guess. Nothing there. Let's look at sudo. Let's troubleshoot what is happening. So let's see here. PAM authentication, blah, blah, blah. Did this just completely break it? Xorg user 0 dumped core. Well, that's not good. That's not good at all, is it? What was it doing? Display server at VT1 failed. Oh. Well, maybe we modify Arch Titus to use Wayland. Oh, man. Dude, not cool. I wonder what's happening here. Failed to read display number from pipe. It looks like it's just failing on Xorg over and over and over again. Could also be, if we look at the VM, I'm sure this would be fine on a regular machine, but I'd like to have it VM capable so people can try it out like in a VM before going crazy with it. What are we using for our display? I mean, QXL is pretty standard. We could switch this to vert IO. Could apply to that. And then let's just come back into here. Let's just do power off. And do we have... Yeah, we have the guest agent. let's see what the guest agent does as far as overview goes. Okay, yeah. So it's just the display setting. Let's just go ahead and restart that just so everybody can see. Yeah, vert.io. I think it was probably just that portion. So let's just log in. What's the login look like? Solid. Okay, cool. That's working. Nice. Yeah, all the customizations are there. Cool. That works great. Okay, cool. So that update and those pull requests didn't mess with anything. I didn't think they would, but I thought, hey, let's just go ahead and check just to make sure. So that works out good. What else we got? Alrighty, let's go ahead and close that out. And we already merged that back in. What other projects do people use that you guys want me to check up on here? We've done Titus. We checked out the Win10 script, did some updates, worked through some of the pull requests. I think all those things were very, very needed. Yeah, Xorg was dying all over. It was like, I'm dying. And that's kind of what I wanted to kind of look at, is doing Wayland. I would do it live on this stream, but since everything runs through Xorg on this stream, it's just going to be you guys staring at a black screen most of the time, because I rely on Xorg to kind of showcase the entire stream over here, which, yeah. Once we rip Xorg out, it's just going to be me at that. And I don't have a way to emulate that just yet. I used to use a mirror, but since I switched to 1440p, they don't make a display mirror. And maybe somebody knows this in chat, but does it exist? I don't know. I've never seen a display port or actually an HDMI box that can mirror 1440p at 144 hertz, you know, or 165 hertz, either one. But I needed to mirror a high refresh rate at 1440p, and I don't think that exists. So, what's your recommendation for a free VPN? Don't use a free VPN. Just use one you create if you want to go that route, but don't use someone's free VPN. They're just harvesting all your data and doing God knows what with it. It's not a good idea. Not a good idea at all. VPNs are really good for torrenting and geo unlocking. That's what a VPN is used for. I think some folks think like just from all the marketing, they're good for privacy and security, and they're not. Not at all. Drives me crazy. Maybe X Wayland. I do need to check that out, Pavel. There's an issue with Debian Titus that needs testing in a VM. You know what, Niels? Let's look at that. I agree. Let's take a peek at Debian Titus, because that's one that I've been working a lot on lately, and I know it still needs a lot more work. So let's take a peek at it. I do want to change some of the scripting and make an all-encompassing, like, one-click go type thing. Let's go ahead and do that live on stream, because we do need some updates on that. Let's switch over to Debian Titus batch. All right, there's no changes here, so we're up on the latest branch. Now this branch is all jacked to begin with. It's not really meant for a user. You're going to run into errors pretty much on everything. So let's take a peek. But we could learn stuff from our other scripts and take things to that script. Probably the first thing I want to kind of take a look at is if we look at Titus. This right here is actually not a bad way of doing the script. Now this does like arch root, and we could just kind of encompass all of this into there and log in as a username. So we could do take some notes here with this install. I would say we take the run user. That would be cool. But let's see here. Let's take a peek at our scripts. Let's do that. We're just going to go into GitHub and then go Debian Titus. Let's first take a look at our root script, and we're going to actually push this to here. This is all that the root script's doing. And then if we take a look at our user script, oh, you know what? Let's just vim directly into it, right? Was it user? Yeah. All right, so this is what all the user script's doing. You know what? I'm looking at this, and we can do a better job. This home directory and how we're making these things, I think, should be good. Let's see. Just checking. All right. I think we combine these scripts, and then a lot of this I don't think we need to build out, and we can put this in a proper method of doing it, because all this can be done at a root level. And frankly, I think what we do is make it to where it's not user specific. This is going to be a little bit different than the Arch Titus setup, but I'm thinking in my head, what we can do is make everything at a global level. So whenever you create a user, it just automatically applies all the theming that you see on the screen right now. And a lot of people don't use like I think it's the etc skel, which is like the skeleton for each user build directory. I think that'd be kind of a cool way of doing it. I like to kind of change things up and do it differently. So first off, these themes, let's fix this. Which if we come into here, does this, can't remember, did I put that to the main? No, I didn't. The main clipboard. Oops, nope, canceled. Didn't mean to do that. Huh. So what I think I'll do is just grab this entire thing. Let's just retrieve it and then just cat user.sh. Oh. That's right. The working directory is actually, let's just retrieve, and we'll cat Titus GitHub Debian Titus user.sh. Oh, where is this thing? Why am I making this so difficult? All right, whatever. I was gonna do it all in Vim, but I haven't had enough coffee, so we're gonna just do it in Codium. Good enough. We'll open up our folder, and we're gonna go with the GitHub Debian Titus. And what we're gonna do with this is take our user, and we're gonna start grabbing stuff and incorporating it from a root global level. So we'll take that. That. Oops. Oh, that's weird. Can't remember what my copy command is. All right, that's fine. So the theming, put that down here, or we'll put that down here. Yeah, there we go. Oh, Pop! OS uses X-Wayland. I wonder if X-Wayland would be a good in-between. I'll check that out. I'll try it out maybe this weekend. You hear about a company, Zero Trace, selling USB drives with Tails Linux installed on them, claiming it's their own You know, that's just Linux, though. Matthew, if I had a dime for every time someone stole something from Linux and then tried to monetize it, I'd be a pretty rich man. I mean, heck, look at like Mac and Windows. They've copied like virtual desktops. That was in Linux first. There's a lot of things that have been copied from Linux. And I'm okay with that, mind you. I think a lot of it is, you know, just kind of how the world works. And that's why I'm not really strict. Like a lot of the FOSS folks out there says everything should be free and open source. And while I agree with that, it would be nice if that were the case. It's just not how things are. And that mentality, you know, hey, if it's not this way, I think what it does is it drives regular or normies to say, oh, well, those free and open source software people are crazy. And a lot of normies don't understand then what happens. Even though most of the stuff the normies are using are based on either free and open source software that have been privatized and monetized and an operating system or, you know, variety of different things. Everyone uses open source software. It's just a lot of people don't realize where it's from. And that's why I'm like pretty lax with how I do a lot of my stuff. I just throw it up there. Usually I just use an MIT license for my stuff just because when I see my stuff out in the wild, even if someone else is taking credit for it, I still think it's cool because then if someone goes, hey, look at this tool, I can be like, yeah, that's my tool. They'd be like, what? And I'd be like, yeah, they just kind of copied my stuff and then put it up there. And it makes that company look bad or that person look bad. And at the same time, it kind of shows you, hey, open source is not something to be feared. It's actually really, really nice. It's just most people don't realize almost everything's based on open source. There's very few like original proprietary closed source stuff out there, in my opinion. A guide on Convantum? Yeah, probably. Didn't take TikTok. I mean, a lot of people have taken stuff from OBS and given no credit. The Streamlabs approach, yeah, that company, man, I tell you. All right, so what we can do here for the home, we'll probably just do like a substitute. Oops, do a substitute. Probably just do % substitute / home. And substitute that out with / USR. Local. What is it? Local fonts? Let me look. Where is the fonts directory here? Where is the... Where was that? I don't think it was... I think it was user share, actually. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. User share fonts is where it should be. Fonts. Okay. There we go. We'll switch out home to user share fonts using that substitute command. And then let's continue on here. And what we're doing, Oh, and let's just take this. We'll just delete that. Delete those two things. All right. Oops. Undo. And take a peek at our user. So this one's done. We'll just delete that. Microsoft fonts. I mean, we really don't even need those. I think that was just... I'll leave it here for now, but I don't think we even need this. I think we'll just add all of these at one go. So let's say we just yank that, come over to root, and I think we could just add that right in here. And we'll just add those things in. How's that looking at the end here? We'll just append a dash yes. And dash yes. Make this a little more streamlined. What else we got? All right. This is done. Make theme directories. Somewhere we need to grab the username and put that in there as well. And probably the easiest way to grab the username without user intervention, I'm thinking just grabbing the username of UID 1000. I'm not sure how to do that actually. Out of all the things, grab username UID 1000. Let's see what the Google gives us. That's not a good way of doing it, I don't think. That looks like a way to do it. This awk command. So let's do that. Should print out Titus. Yeah. That should work good. So what we'll do here is, this is the user. We're going to go from root. We're going to set that command variable up here. We'll just say username equals, and then I think we can just do like a single quote and toss that in. And then I think we could come into here. So then when we set the user variables, we're just gonna make this all one script again. I've been meaning to like make this a little more streamlined, but let's go into etc skel. So skel is where everything is created when the profile is made. And I think since most people will be using it from installation media, the profile will already be there, so I can't really do this. But I still want to show people the skel directory. I think it's kind of a cool thing if you look at this. Whenever you add something or change something in skel and you create a new user, it copies all of these. So if you actually come into here and edit like bash rc, you can actually change this file, and then every subsequent user creation will grab all these settings and apply it to that user. So it's really cool if you can do it before the person creates their user. However, how I'm doing this install, now that I'm thinking about it, that's not how we're doing it. But neat, that's what this directory is for. It just is files that gets pulled in on new users. Yeah, a lot of times my display is going mad. So this is something where I'm gonna have to switch out as well. Let's see. We go here. It does not like the fact I'm streaming in 1440p. I gotta change my resolution and some other things, and it's just like, I don't know why YouTube does this. But alas, that's kind of where we're at. I'll see if maybe next stream I can fix that to where it won't mess up a little bit. Do you think your videos will ever be back on Odyssey? It's not something mainstream, but really cool people who use it. No, I don't think I will be back to Odyssey. I haven't seen anything, and they're kind of crazy as a platform. I follow them on Twitter, and man, some of the stuff they post is just wacky. And a lot of the stuff that's on Odyssey, I'm just kind of like, I kind of want to distance myself from the platform itself. Just because there's just a lot of crazies over there, and the platform itself, I don't see them surviving, especially with their social media presence. It's just shockingly bad. It's the best way I could put it, and consistently bad, to where I will never return to Odyssey unless there's some drastic change. But as of today, I'm just kind of like, man, I'm going to just let you sit in your corner, do your thing, I'll do mine, and then see where the platform goes, but I don't see it going anywhere. I wish it would. I wish it would clean up its act a bit, and then also be a little more mainstream. Then I totally would be over there, but as it is today, no. I mean, it's not edgy alt-right kind of stuff. I mean, like the Flat Earthers thing, and then there's all this other just weird stuff they end up promoting. And then you got just really nasty stuff that ends up being on their platform, and I'm just... I'm not great, not sold on it by any means. Also, their Twitter is awful. Whoever's running their social media should be fired, like immediately, like yesterday, because it is some of the stuff they promote is not like alt-right kind of stuff. Yes, that does exist on their platform, but it's more of just crazy, like horrible TikTok type stuff. For those brain dead people out there that like to watch that type of stuff, and they promote that. And I'm just, there's plenty of good creators they could promote, but they choose these weird fringe stuff to promote, and I'm just like, I'm out. I can't deal with that. What are your thoughts about creating content on Nebula? I'm not a big fan of paywalls. I kind of like to just put stuff up on my website for like $5 to say, hey, if you like what I'm doing, contribute there. I don't like to lock content behind any kind of paywall though. So like if someone's completely broke, they don't need to do anything. They can just use and follow my steps and recreate the stuff I'm have like for $5 on my website. All that stuff's mainly a donation and maybe a little shortcut for the person to get something working a little faster, maybe like an image. But those images, I actually document how to create so you can create your own. And that's kind of how I treat it. I kind of like the just goodwill donation aspect of how I monetize, which is messed up. I know I should do like sponsor spots and more sponsored content. I don't like that. And I've been very fortunate in my life, and I like to try and pay that forward by just making educational stuff and then not being bombarded with, your next Squarespace ad and all that other crap that you see everywhere on YouTube. It's not to say that I'm above that. It's just, I don't need to do that. And, maybe sometime in the future when I don't have a day job and I'm relying on YouTube 100% for ad revenue, I'm sure my stance would change on that. I'd be like, yes, I need to do sponsored content, whether it's through Nebula or some kind of paywall or a sponsored ad, that type of thing. Yeah, but I'd much rather just try and build out a core system that I have through my website that just relies mostly on donations, but also has some benefit for those that do donate to kind of shortcut some of the stuff I do. And that's what I'm trying to do. So I'm trying to do something I don't think I've ever seen before, instead of doing a bunch of ads and locking stuff behind paywalls. So it's not to say that's a bad way of doing it. It's just that's the proven way of doing it. But at the same time, right now I don't need that stuff, as I don't rely on YouTube for any kind of income. Raid Shadow Legends. Oh man, that would be the greatest if that was like my first sponsored spot in like years. I used to do sponsored spots, by the way. I did be like, hey, this video is brought to you by whatever. I just stopped that. Yeah. Linus would give me tips. You know, he does a good job with his segues. And yeah, I could make a ton more money if I did more sponsored stuff. I just haven't. Mainly because it's not like some philosophical reason. It's mainly because sponsored spots kind of suck to deal with the companies. Like the back end of how that works is not fun. And I haven't yet found a way to do it where it wouldn't be like a immense burden on me. You know, it's like, and it's not like a crazy amount of money either. It's, you know, most sponsored spots are like $500 to maybe $1,000. And I don't know. I mean, to me, that just seems like you're kind of lowballing yourself. But that's just YouTube. And YouTubers, a lot of times they cut themselves short. But anyhow. Maybe one day. But that's not today. Manscaped ads. I think we've all seen the same ads, man. You get like Squarespace, Manscaped, Skillshare. Oh my gosh. Who hasn't done a Skillshare ad? Oh, I mean, we've all seen the same ads on YouTube. It's kind of crazy how like maybe 10 companies dominate all of the integrated ads on YouTube. It's a little wild. So we got our username right here. Ooh, that's not gonna work. I already see the flaw with that. Maybe a double quote. Darn it. How am I gonna run that command without it just messing up bad? Let's take this one. And we're going to just take this. Let's go to open up a new file or an existing file. I think I have one in my home directory. I'm going to open up test. Let's just delete everything here. Oh. And we'll grab this root. And what I want to do is just test this. And then let's just echo username. Yeah, I did. Oh, Wix. Yeah, oh my gosh. Yeah, I did. I think I still have a Linode sponsored spot. I did one sponsored spot for him. It's just I was so busy, I wasn't able to give him much. Escape the quotes, possibly. Curl braces around the variable name. Curly braces around the variable name. Okay, that's one way of doing it. So shell check doesn't like it when you put a variable without quotes usually. Oh, maybe not. Okay. All right. So it did not like that. It failed line 2 with this. Yeah. Maybe I could replace this with like a... something like this, maybe? That's a little dicey. No, that's not gonna work. Bash vars. Oh, yeah, okay. That's what that's telling me. We can fix that. All right. Code, okay. I got it. Thank you, guys. That should be better. I don't know if I need the curly braces here. Yeah, I'm not using who am I mainly because I'll be running as root and it'll show who am I as root. So that's why we're not doing that, Chris. I just want to grab the UID of the first created user that the person creates when they build the operating system, which would be UID 1000 on Debian-based systems. So that's why we do it that way. All right. I don't think we need that. Let's see what we get. Let's just save that. And then let's see what the sudo test does. Perfect. All right. That is exactly what we need. So we'll yank that line. Come back to root. This is a bad line. We'll replace it with a... Oh, no. Let's yank that line again. And then paste. Awesome. So that should get us exactly what we need. User share themes. This does user share fonts for our custom fonts. And then what else we got on our user creation? All of this needs to be put over there as well. X resources and the .config. This probably needs to be redone as the user itself. But I guess we could do the permissions or the ownership of these differently. Because the dot files need to definitely be owned by the user itself. But we'll do like a recursive command after these 3 lines. So let's just grab those 3 lines and then just put those over here. Oops. Oops. Nope. All right. So if we go 3 yank yank, put that over here. And then we're going to replace home with probably a substitute command. So let's just do a bulk full file. We're going to replace //home. And we're going to replace this with a home. And then we put the username. Yeah, that should do it. And then do G. So that should replace every home with that. That looks pretty good. And then we probably would do like a chown, right? Chown. And probably do it recursive with username colon username, and I imagine we want to just do the whole home folder, so we just do something like this. I think that's pretty good for an initial run. What else do we have in the user folder? So we got that taken care of. The lay-in cursors. We can probably get rid of that. Get rid of this line. I think that's pretty good to where the root should get almost all of what we need. Usernames shouldn't allow spaces, no, so we don't need it. That squiggly line you're seeing under root on all the usernames, it's basically shell check, which is a little extension for bash scripting. That's just telling me, hey, if there's a space in this variable name, it's going to jack up your script. So that's what that wiggly line's going to do there, or what it's saying. And this one should use cd ... or exit in case cd fails. I don't think it will though. You should be able to do an IDU in 1000. Oh, I'd not do that whole awk business. Let's test it out. That seems much cleaner. Yeah. So this is like the super hacky way. Thank you, Chris. That is much better. Let's just delete that. Yeah. So just ID you in 1000. Boom. Much cleaner than that whole awk. I was awking the whole password file to get it. Both would get the same end result, but that is, I'm going to say Chris's way is by far the best way than that crazy awk command. Oh, what I miss Sparking. Ah, I got you. If you needed to concatenate $var, it would not work, where $, with the curly brackets would work. I got you. You have a nice name as well. It's awesome. That crazy awk was fun. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, awk can do some amazing things. Something to definitely learn. But when there's a cleaner way to do it, for sure. So this should pretty much get us most of the theming to where that should fix most things on a fresh install. I think from here we make this commit. What's our user file look like? There's not much in the user file. You don't really even need to use the user file. There's just like Microsoft fonts, which aren't really needed. Changing the cursor, which again, who cares? You can just use the little black X11 cursor starting out. So I don't think I'm going to bother with this just yet. I want to see what this looks like on get-go. I'd like this to just be an all-encompassing one run from root. So let's do that. Let's just push that out. And then we're going to test this. That's weird. I wonder why. I think it's something with the X11 mirroring. I swear, next time, guys, we're going to definitely be doing something like that. Something with, wait, which was that? Oh, no. Debian. Do I have a Debian? There's a net install. Oh, there's a testing. All right, cool. And Debian testing. And we'll just do 10 gigs with 6 CPUs. And 20 gigs is plenty for this one. This is a pretty minimal install. And we're just going to test that out. Oh. All right. And I don't like graphical, so we're going to do this way. Just faster this way. Don't need to use a mouse. Oh, I do need to enable the SDDM service on the script as well. That's true. Test. We'll not leave. We're just going to use that. I think there's a cat trapped in my garage. I keep hearing meowing. All right, let's see. We're just going to set that up. This is actually a pretty simple setup, Tanmay. It's just the 5600X. So it's a $300 processor, so I don't have anything too crazy. It'd be nice if I had like a 5950X or even a more powerful system, but I kind of like being on more of a, I think, a common CPU than what most people use. I think it would show a lot more of what the real world results would be instead of just like overpowering it with just a bunch of muscle. All right, no extra media. And then we're just gonna set this up. I do use GA Tech, that's Georgia Tech. They're pretty close to where I'm at geographically. It's a little bit better than the vanilla Debian mirrors. Yeah, I think my gaming PC is actually a 1700 Ryzen. First gen 1700 Ryzen, which is pretty good. Thanks so much for the super chat, Bergs. Back again, still on Titus Arch, or Arch Titus. Managed to accidentally install 2 AMD video drivers. Brick Proton Wine. Lesson learned. Hopefully you're using like time shift, so you're easily able to get back. That'd be cool. All right, so what we do here is just a minimal selection and install this. I don't know what Debian mirrors, they do a good job, Jaff, as far as what Debian mirrors get used when you just select the base Debian. They do a great job, actually. I would say they do a better job than pretty much any distribution out there. Ubuntu also does a pretty good job as well, which is based on Debian. So. Have you looked at PXE installing your test VMs? I have, but I'd rather just run it on bare metal or directly on my hardware itself. Just for one, ease of use, but two, when you get into like grub loading and other things, it just, I think would be a little bit easier. But I used to do a full-blown like bare metal hypervisor and then do like an iSCSI drive, so it was almost loading like from the network, but not. So it just depends. Depends on what you want to do. What do you think of NixOS? You know, I think I saw something. There was a new desktop environment. Was it NixOS that made it? I think it was like Maui, and it has like a whole new tool set. So most desktop environments were using like GTK and Qt, and I think they were taking like, I don't know if that was the System 76 team doing that, but I don't think it was. I think it was a whole different new team. Interesting. All right, let's see here. We'll go full screen again. And now we just install probably console setup, I think it is. Oh, console's already there. We do a reconfigure. Console setup. Oh, wait. Oh, that's a little much, isn't it? That's went a little too over the top there. Yeah. Let's dial that back a hair, shall we? All right, that's better. This is where we do our Git. Well, yeah, I just kind of want to be able to, like, folks on phones and stuff could see what I'm doing. That's the whole purpose. So if I look at this, and we just grab Debian Titus, CD Debian Titus, and this is all of the, oh, I have background JPEG I need to toss in there as well. So let's switch to super user and then just run root, see what we get. This should pretty much set everything up for us. Obviously the script's not done yet, we still got like SDDM to do, but I mean it's pretty close. It switches everything to SID from testing, and then installs all the needed packages. Hopefully this time around it should get everything. We'll do a listing of our user folder just to make sure our .configs are in the right spot, our X resources, X node, a lot of the theming is in the right spot, and then we'll do an SDDM enable start, and that should toss us to a prompt. We might actually, I might just set up an auto login and just bypass SDDM altogether, but let's see. Yeah, no doubt. If I see any breakages, I'll definitely report it to them back to the main channel. But SID's pretty darn stable. I love SID. Debian SID I've been using for a long time. I remember I think I started trying it back in like January of 2019, and I've always loved it. It's always been probably the most solid distro where it balances that newer packages coupled with more stability so well, I think. I'm surprised there isn't, and maybe someone in chat can correct me here, but I don't think I've seen a distribution based on Debian SID before. I bet there's one out there, right? I mean, well, there's 1,000 different Linux distributions, but I don't know if there is one. Oh, they tried to do a Debian cut. Seduction is SID base. That's a great name for a distro. So this is just grabbing the fonts theme. You'll notice that this is a more minimal install. Oh, that's one other thing I need to do in the new year too, is on the Arch Titus, switch Arch Titus over to the minimal install. That would change the install time to be like 3 minutes. It would be insane. SID's above Debian testing, where it's more development based. So it's considered unstable. So no such file or directory. So if we exit this, come back. Yeah, so it didn't grab the .conf file or any of that. So if we take a look at root, well, let's install some Vim, shall we? So there's something in here we're missing. CD user themes. It does the fonts. It needs to come back into... Okay, it needs to come back into there. So this should actually be CD back into... what do you grab? Probably PWD. So we need to build directory. We need to add like a build dir equals, and then do like PWD for the build directory. And then we need to CD back into build dir. I think that would work. Let's just do a little test here. Sudo su root. And let's see if it grabs that directory this time. I guess I could have commented out or deleted that other one. So I don't re-download these, but oh well. Pushed D. What's push D? I don't think I've ever used that. Okay, so then we're missing got config. But if we exit this, look, okay, so now we got xnord, x resources in the proper place, but we still don't have the .config in the proper place. So if we look at our root, so to fix that, we would need to do probably make dir-p and then do home username .config. That'll just make that .config path as well. So now, if we do just sudo su debian root, this will grab that. Before we do that, actually, instead of just keeping downloading this over and over and over, let's just, because I'm not going to commit these changes. This is just kind of hacking around to see what this does. Let's just do 5dd. We'll just make this a little more streamlined to test these changes, and then we'll commit it back to the main branch. Nordic already exists. Okay, cool. So then if we go back, we go into .config. Now we have all of our settings right in there. Perfect. So that tells me this should fix this script. We just need to add build dir right up here. And then also the CD to build directory and then make directory here. So if we change that, where are you at? Come on, cursor. Sometimes getting out of this is a little challenging. We'll just come over here, and I think it's not gonna allow me to do it. It's not gonna allow me to do it. All right. So let's come over to this branch. Gotta fix my display. It's so jacked right now. And then we're gonna do build directory equals pwd. And then we fix this to be cd build directory. And then we make directory -p home username .config. That way we can copy those files into .config. And that should be perfect. All right, update. Push. And now if we come back into our VM, let's go back into full screen. Once all this is finished, you should be able to just do a systemctl and go enable sddm -- now, and that should enable the service and start it. Put it right into a prompt, and then beautiful desktop. Yeah. So this is something that's happening. It's not grabbing these folders. So if we go into a vim of .config polybar config, which is what's jacked up there, and we look, this is what's happening. It's grabbing the fonts, and Firecode is there, Font Awesome is there, the Nerd font is there, and Noto color emoji's there, but it's not able to read the proper one, even though if we come down and you can see the emoji, and you can also see the emojis here for the workspaces. So this is something I had fixed on my main machine, but I don't know how I fixed it. Beautiful, right? And I think it's something to do with the fonts and the order that they're doing the fonts in. I want to say we should be able to fix this by doing like a font.conf from the system level and say, hey, instead of using like Deja Vu Sans to grab these things from Polybar, it should go ahead and try and find Firecoda first, and then move to like Fonts Awesome, and then finally load Deja Vu last for the fonts. Maybe even Noto Emoji, and look at those. I'm just not sure because all the fonts are there. It's just not loading them in the correct order, I think. So that's what I think is happening there. Yeah, it's so true, Donald. I love that quote. It's funny how much you pick simply by playing with Linux. Nobody knows everything about Linux. It's just too big. And I think that a good example of that is looking at like Linus Torvalds, the guy that made Linux, the Linux kernel. And he had trouble installing Debian. Just to showcase how vast Linux desktop is, and just Linux in general. There's just rabbit hole upon rabbit hole. It's like the inception of operating systems because there's just so much different stuff to learn. It's beautiful and fun, but there's just nobody knows it all, and that's awesome. And I don't think anybody will ever know it all. It's just there's too much, which is great. I love it. But let's go ahead and install. You know, there's something I've been messing around with. Qt browser. It's like a minimal web browser. I'm kind of like wanting to learn it. I don't know if it's just me. It's kind of neat. I don't know the hotkeys very well, but it uses Vim hotkeys in a browser. So it's like really obscure and funky. I don't think I'll ever do a video on it, but I'm kind of wanting to learn Qt browser because it's so minimal, as it installs like 100 packages to get it to work. Oh, does DT main that? Okay, I could see that. It's a neat little browser, I gotta say. So, Qt browser. It's interesting. I'm not very good with it, but it's meant like to be all, let's see, basic keys to get you around. Use arrow keys H, J, K, L to move around the web page. Yeah, okay. To open a new web page, press O. Yeah. To switch between tabs, capital J and K. Okay. That makes sense. Close a tab, press D. Or press U to undo closing the tab. That's cool. H and L. Ah, cool. And press colon to show command line. To search in a web page, use /. That makes sense. That's what you use for Vim. And to close, Alt F4. I bet like this Shift ZZ works too. It's neat, man. I love this browser. It's cute. I love it. All right, so let's come over to here and let's search install maybe just like fix emojis Linux. I bet you somebody's done something like this. Fonts.conf. So this fixes serif family, sans serif, sans monospace. So what I think we can do here and you know, I might do an FC list just to see, like FC list grep nodo. So I have all the nodo color emoji stuff in here. All right, good enough. Probably should fix. Let's fix our actual display too. What are we at? Oh yeah. All right. Let's fix that to a. Do we have 1440p? We can go 1080p, or we'll go 1920. Sudo apt install a randar. Let's fix that. And we'll just select that. Check. Ah, perfect. A little bit better. I feel like I can just grab this and put it in this fonts.config. I don't think this will fix it per se, but I'm interested in this. Oh, how do I grab the browser line? How do I copy? Oh, darn it. Let's go Shift K. How do I grab the address bar? Address bar? No. Guess we could do like an O. Ah, here we go. Ah, there we go. Okay. I think we can just grab this, do like a Control-Shift-C, come into here, wget, and then, that is slick. Okay, cool. I like it. It's kind of growing on me as a browser. I'm sure like the extensions and stuff, because it's pretty minimal. But I think I might just try this on this VM for now. All right, and then we need to fix this entire upper section. And I think we can do that by... What's the best way to... We'll push this fonts.conf over into there. So if we come back into here, is it the back? I'm digging it. I'm sure there's going to be... Does this even play YouTube, I wonder? Do I dare? I mean, I do get cert errors.
Whoa, that's a lot of traffic.
Oh, well. Skip ads. Oh. Does work. That's neat. Okay. Now, how do I quit? Oh, what was it? Quit. Or I should come back. Okay. That's neat. All right, we're going to just grab that. And... Oh. All right, fonts config, puts that into there. So I could add this to my dot files. Actually, I could have just done a move, but that's just the Noto ones. I would probably have to do, I think Fonts Awesome grabs me in my workspaces, and I want to say this top one uses Firecoda, the power menu. This guy right here. It's interesting. Did you have to? I think a lot of people get enjoyment out of seeing me make my life harder. It's an interesting tidbit. All right. Also, kind of another cool thing. Is the X11 file. I actually did a video on this. You notice how this is obviously not going to stick my resolution. I just did an arandar. I wanted to show people how to do it in x.conf. So let's just do open. I think we can, we're just gonna go back to YouTube, and then we'll go to Chris Titus Tech. And I did a file on this like a long time ago. Probably not a great video, but I did put everything in the in the description. I think it was screen resolution. Yeah. Multiple monitors and positioning. Don't want to hear you, guy. And what I wanted was just all of this right here. And then I should be able to just do a... Oh! Wrong one. Sudo vim, and then do like etc x11 xorg.conf 10 dash monitors.conf, and then put all this in here. I don't need, what is that? Get rid of that. Target refresh, delete. Don't need the mode line. And then I just need to grab the identifier, which if we look, xrandar, the identifier I think is virtual-1. So then we just change that to delete in, and I think we can just highlight, paste. Maybe not. Virtual-1. So that right there should fix pretty much xrandar on reboot to always be in 1080p mode on boot. So then you never need to set any display like using arandar, or if you're using like KDE. All the desktop environments have their own tools to set it, and this just kind of hard codes it in there. So let's give it a reboot, sudo reboot, and see what we get. And this should, in a perfect world, yeah, look at that. Look at that gorgeous, gorgeous desktop. Awesome. Now that fonts fix also did not fix what we needed, which is kind of a bummer. So Peter, we were actually been talking for the last couple hours about switching from X11 to Wayland. And the reason for that, I'm probably going to leave it right here. I got to figure out this. This is the one problem with Debian Titus is on initial load, it's not loading those font families correctly. And I don't know why. So I'll figure that out. Something's up with it. But we'll just quit that. This is up to date a little bit more. I'm going to work more on the font family issue. And then mainly in here, I'm going to work also on getting Wayland going instead of X11, mainly because for these live streams, have two different cables connected. My traditional desktop is running on 1440p at 165 hertz. Helps me with my eyes. And having a higher refresh rate is just nicer. And then for the HDMI, that's what you all are seeing. It's actually downscaled from a 4K resolution to 30 frames, mainly because X11 just will not support anything in between. Also, my capture card is not seeing anything in between either, which kind of is a bummer. And that's why I'm like, okay, I got to figure out something between these two things to fix. So I'll work on more on the Debian Titus section, also looking at the HDMIs and how it's splintering this off and setting that resolution. I'd like to see what Wayland looks like. I'm really familiar with X11. Wayland, every time I go to it, I'm just like, oh, why did I do this? But it's been several years, and I know there's been a lot of cool conversions. I think specifically like Pop! OS doing X Wayland, I know by default, so it uses Wayland, but it uses like a conversion from Xorg to where all the X configs get put into Wayland. I don't know how all that will work, but I kind of want to try it and also see how it interacts with BSPWM, which is my default window manager here. I think all of those things would be pretty darn cool. Thanks so much for the super chat, Alex. Recently had an issue where I couldn't use 4K 60 frames on an NVIDIA card connected to DisplayPort 2. Ended up having a custom edit xorg.conf. Ever run into that? That's kind of what I'm running into right now, Alex, as it just will not accept 1440p, even though I know that HDMI does 1440p. And I'm just having to do this hacky scaling workaround to basically mirror my desktop so y'all can see it. And that's a big bummer. That is a big, big bummer. I don't like that. It's real hacky. It's not a good experience, and I'd love to have more of a streamlined mirroring experience for everybody to watch. As I know this stream has been a little bit probably a little blocky, because I think YouTube's having to do like conversion on the fly as I'm sending the 1440p signal, but I think it's only broadcasting to you 1920 by 1080. So I might switch the stream back to 1080p and then just scale everything down. I could just scale from 1440p to 1080p. I think it would be fine as well. And then we get the 60 frames just for grabbing. Rendering it can be a little complex on that side of things. Are you rebuilding the font cache after making those changes to the fonts? I am, Sparky. I am. For whatever reason, this font cache is just not grabbing it. One thing we can look at real fast, just to kind of show you too. We could do like an FC list, and you can see what's in the cache. And you see going through, you got your X11. You got, let's see, continue forward. Where are you at? Man, I didn't realize X11 had so many fonts. I know Meslo and Awesome fonts were in here, but if we look, you'll see them kind of interspersed. But it does show on the FC- list that it is reading those fonts. And, oh wait, this is mine. Of course it's reading it on mine. I got all this. Let's see. Let's just quit that. And then do Vert Manager, Debian testing. Let's run that. Just to make sure. I'm pretty sure it's reading those fonts though. FC-list. Yeah, so you see the Fire Code and Furacoda nerd fonts. Both those are loaded with the Meslo fonts, all using FC list. One thing I am noticing though, there's not very many X11 fonts. I obviously have a lot more fonts loaded on my system. So that's interesting. How many fonts do we got? Maybe. Okay, X fonts DPI is installed. Toilet fonts are installed. What the hell is that? It's kind of funny. Font tools. That might be worthwhile. Font droid. Font manager. Font viewer. Font config. That is installed. Makes me wonder. What is font manager? Anybody ever use that? It's installing like Hunspell, some other stuff. That's interesting. Just kind of want to see this real fast. I've never dealt with font manager before, but I just did a package list and looked up font, and I'm just curious to see what this program is. Font manager. Oh, that's kind of cool. Got all these different variations. And these are all system level. Nothing's disabled. Unsorted. Can we like push? Wouldn't it be cool if we could just take these and like change the order of them using this? Add fonts, remove fonts, Google fonts. What's that button do? Oh, all right, well, all right, okay. It's neat. Collections. I mean, that's very interesting. Fonts awesome should be where all of our things are. Can we change? Oh, that'd be cool. if I could just change all that through here. But alas, I don't think that's a thing. Expand all. It's regular. Well, it's a very interesting tidbit. Just got to figure out how to load those properly. Although, you know, I kind of want to just do a reboot just to see if that did anything. It did install a bunch of dependencies when it did Font Manager. Kind of curious. Okay, yeah. No, it didn't do anything. All right, yeah. But I'll track that down. Yeah, very interesting that I picked up all the fonts, but it's just not grabbing my bar with these fonts, because these are actually grabbing from Fonts Awesome. And I also have a lot of Meslo fonts as well. So, very interesting. Yeah, I love Awesome. Font Awesome is great. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to end it here. I think this is a good little stream. Got to update some projects, kind of look at some things, seeing the progress on Debian, Debian testing with BSPWM. It's just, man, it's such a headache with Xorg. I'm going to try, obviously the follow-up here is trying Wayland, and then also figuring out what's going on with my Debian environment with the font load. I don't know why it's grabbing that. I hope you all have a fantastic new year. Thank you all for chatting with me today, kind of as we explore some of these cool little projects. And then I will see you next Friday. So we'll revisit it all and kind of see where we're at. Hopefully I've tried Wayland a little bit and a better setup. So hopefully we don't have as much artifacting as we did throughout this stream, because YouTube having to live code or downscale it to a 1080p resolution. Worst case, I'll probably just downscale it to 1080p and just say, forget the 1440p stream. I don't think it's all that great for a lot of this stuff. So have a great weekend. Be safe out there tonight if you are going for the New Year's celebrations. And I'll see you in the next one.